like I mean, I don't know. I don't know if she sounds Canadian, but I think knowing that she's Canadian and we've heard it on Canadian radio like all the time makes it sound Canadian to me. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because that's what we latched onto. Because the thing is, anyone who is Canadian knows that like when you're growing up, you'll watch a movie or you hear an artist, and the second someone goes, "That person's Canadian," you go, "Oh, that's so cool!" And then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
they're
you
like
know.
one of your favorite performers, and like
It's
even though
mainly
they,
yeah.
all they have to do is be Canadian, and then all of a sudden,
Well,
it's like,
it's
whoa.
because we're so like we just idolize everything Americans do. We watch anything American. So when we find out they're Canadian, it's like, whoa,
Like, whoa, you made it out of here? Like,
whoa, there's actually Canadians. Like,
Love is a weapon, God is an
there.
animal.
We're back again.
Another
episode of Boys and You. This time we are doing Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette.
yeah.
This is a good one, actually. I think we were always going to do this, but I think we were inspired more because we just saw her live. Like, how long? 2-3 weeks ago.
2-3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. Yeah. It's crazy. Such a good show.
It was an amazing show. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we're from Montreal, and she came to do a show at the Bell Center. And I didn't really know what to expect because I don't think we knew what to expect because we never seen her live. But if like her performance, like on a record, was going to be any indication of what it was going to be like live, well, she really exceeded expectations because it was a hell of a show.
I expected like for the nostalgia value is going to be great, but I didn't expect her to like, I didn't expect her to exceed that expectation. Like I didn't expect her to be like even better now than she ever was. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy because
she's such a good singer. Like holy moly.
I know. Well, she's 45 now, and she was 21 when Jagged Little Pill came out. I mean, that's 27 years on your voice. And that's and some like like some performances as they get older, like their voice can't hold up that long. But she was doing like what was it? I'm trying to remember. Was it she did Perfect? Or was it it was Mary Jane, I think. And she held her like she just held the longest note. It was crazy. I was like, please, Sarah, I don't want your voice to give out. Please don't overdo it. But she just, and we were even singing some songs together and we lost our voice singing to it.
Yeah, I couldn't
catch up with her. Like
I couldn't like sing along. It's too much. Yeah, and she like lost her voice too, like 2 weeks before. She had to cancel some tour dates, but like you would never know.
No.
You would never know.
You would never know. And she really exceeded expectations. It was incredible. The whole show was amazing. I mean, there were some really cheesy parts, but like when she had the whole video show, it's just stuff about like I was like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or like every time James Corden. Like I don't care about those guys, honestly. No offense.
No, I don't need to see like a bunch of obnoxious like older white guys.
I know.
Alanis Morissette. It's not my jam.
No, I know. It was just I don't really care for that. But I mean, I guess there's just so much like she's been through so much over the like she had an eating disorder at one point. Now she's a mom. She's not the same person she was when even when she put out like Jagged Little Pill, like she had been through so much like drama, not just crazy stuff in her musical career. And I guess maybe she need to put it all together in a vignette. 2 of them nonetheless. But really, aside from that, it was an amazing show. And Garbage were great openers too. It was really, really good. I wish we had sat closer though, because
we were like mega far away.
We were like light years away, and it like it would have been nice if we'd been closer, but the tickets were also really expensive. They were really not cheap, but still, it was worth it. And she performed all of Jagged Little Pill live.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, she didn't do it like in order, but that's okay. Like, but she did. Yeah, she did most of it was that. There's only like a couple other songs that weren't. And
The only one I think that was missing was Thank You, and a few other ones.
they did Thank You. She did Thank You.
Oh,
yeah, that was her encore.
sorry. Okay. So this is why we're doing this together, because like, why did I think she didn't do it?
She did it.
Okay, she did Thank You. What was the other one that I thought she was
didn't do
missing?
Hands Clean.
Hands Clean, right?
Yeah,
that was the one. I mean, if there's one song I would have wanted was the song from Dogma, but that's just a song like
that's pretty obscure there.
It's pretty obscure, right? Like if you're going through like her greatest hits, I guess that's like the most obscure one. But yeah, it was a heck of a show. Anyways, on to the album, I guess.
Let's go on to the album.
Because we can go back to the show later. But let's get on to the album. Whoa, where do we start? Do we talk about like the backstory to this album, what she was before, or do we just get into it? Or
yeah, I mean, I think everyone knows this album's pretty famous at this point. Like, I think most people know. Yeah, she was like a child actor and like a pop singer and like not at all like this at all. And then
no, that's it.
Yeah, and then I don't know. She had like. I don't know the full story, but I think she had like a falling out with her like record label and stuff, and then I don't know, and she was like mentally not doing very well. Like she was in bad headspace.
Yeah,
a bunch of breakups.
Yeah,
I think she was just like tired of doing like the poppy stuff. Like that wasn't her at all.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like I've had enough. Like it was like a breaking point, and like. I think that's what's cool about the album is like it was a breaking point and she did her own thing and it was still like a massive hit. Like it was still bigger than any other pop thing she had done before. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's not her first album. I used to think it was, but she put out Alanis and Now Is the Time. None of which I've heard, but I only found out that she had like a pop background. I think you told me the show. And then I saw an interview with on The Hour with George Stroumboulopoulos, and she actually did like dance music before, and like, but that was a phase like she wasn't into. And I think this is the album where she really comes into her own, and it's one of the best selling albums of all time. It's
it's like 33 million or something. I don't know. That's
30. Yeah, actually, you're right. 33 million.
33 million copies. Like that's crazy.
It's crazy. I know.
Yeah.
And it's got such crazy reach. And it's so nostalgic, you know, like it is the 90s.
It is
smack dab in the middle of the 90s.
It was
middle
huge.
of 95, literally like June 1995.
Yeah.
But the success of that album spans like years and years and years. Like I remember the first time I really heard the album or any song on the album was when I was like 6 or 7 years old. It was like, I don't know, my mom taking my sister and I to like the dentist and hearing Alanis Morissette, you know, like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard it on the way to like swimming lessons in like the winter of 96 or something. I was like 6 years old.
Right.
Just like Canadian winter. Like it's so, I don't know. It soundtracks that so well. Cause like I don't know. I don't know if she sounds Canadian, but I think knowing that she's Canadian and we've heard it on Canadian radio like all the time makes it sound Canadian to me. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because that's what we latched onto. Because the thing is, anyone who is Canadian knows that like when you're growing up, you'll watch a movie or you'll hear an artist, and the second someone goes, "That person's Canadian," you go, "Oh, that's so cool!" And then all of a sudden, like, one of your favorite performers, and like even though that's all you have to do is be Canadian, and then all of a sudden,
it's because we're so like we just idolize everything Americans do. We watch anything American. So when we find out they're Canadian, it's like, whoa,
you made it out of here. Like,
whoa, there's actually Canadians that do things like that.
We're like
crazy.
We're this tiny. We're a big country, but like we feel like a tiny big country up north, and it's like, you know, it doesn't feel like anything we do will ever top American. So when a Canadian makes it, we're like, whoa, that's crazy, even if they have no talent whatsoever. Although I'd argue, like, but as you get older, you get over that. Like, I think it like Drake and Justin Bieber, like when you hear they're Canadian, you're like, oh, okay, I wouldn't think that anymore because they're so big now. But there is something authentically Canadian about Alanis Morissette, which is what I love about her, even though she's her musical career has really been, she's American now. Like she has American citizenship. She's lived in the States for years. I think she recorded this album in LA and Hollywood. Actually.
It wasn't made in Canada.
Right. But she sounds like a girl who grew up in Ottawa, to me, at least. I don't know what everyone else thinks. But that's the impact for me. It's just but I didn't actually listen to the full album until I was like 20. I was like 19 or 20 when I was like, wait a second, I think there's more than just like 3 songs this album. This must be a whole amazing album. I think it was when I was working at Home Depot and I was 18 years old that Alanis really spoke to me, because this is such an angsty album, and it really appeals to your like teenage angst sentiment.
Yeah, a little bit melodramatic, a little angsty.
Very angsty. And that's why it stays with you for such a long time. That's when I heard the tour was coming out.
That's what I really like. Yeah.
That's
what I like about it. I've seen criticisms of the album for that very reason. Like it's so melodramatic and self-pitying, but I'm kind of like that's what being a teenager is like,
right?
Like, it sounds exactly what being a teenager is. Like everything hurts you like easily. You have no skin for anything.
You have no skin for anything. You're like, oh, I didn't get that job. That person doesn't like me, or like I failed that test. And at the time, all those things just feel like it's the end of the world. But then you look back and you laugh at those things. And I think that's what I like about this album, is like it reminds me of a time when I thought those things really matter, but they don't. Well, at least like the themes are a little darker in the album, obviously, but I think it was when I heard You Learn in like the parking lot of a Home Depot. It was that moment where I was like, yes, that's the one. That's what I need to hear right now in my life. And I don't know. I guess after that, I listened to Hand in My Pocket again. Ironic. Those were the 3. But then it was a year later where I was like, okay, I actually want to hear this whole album. And then that was it. Like whole album. I listened to it from front to back, over and over again. I think I reached out to you and I was like, have you noticed this album is actually amazing? And I think we've just bonded over this album. It's
I found it when I was like 17, and I don't know why. It was just like the perfect thing. I won't go into what it means to me, because it means a lot. But certain songs stand out. But we'll get there. Let's just go through the tracks.
Let's go through the tracks. I think
we're gonna run through it. We're gonna run out of time.
Yeah, that's it.
But
let's get through the tracks.
Yeah.
But let's get started. So obviously, All I Really Want is the album opener, and
it's actually my favorite song on the album.
I think so too. It like, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one of my favorites for sure. Because and honestly, after hearing it again, like this afternoon, I was like, okay, this is how you open an album, like just that A chord.
I know.
And do 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 do, and that's how she opened the show too.
Yeah, it's such a good opener. It's like the mission statement of the whole album. It's kind of like, I'm pissed off, and here's why.
Yeah, that's it.
I've always thought that song sounds like it sounds like anxiety. Like it just sounds like a panic attack almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. That's where I first heard it. Maybe that's why it's my favorite, because it matters to me in that way. Like I remember just being 19 and having like panic attacks for the first time and being like, I don't know, just completely messed up and screwed up and not knowing what I was doing. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, yes, it's exactly what this sounds like. It's like, just totally on edge and nervy and like, I don't know. I can't even describe it.
I know.
And I love when she sings out of tune. Like I know you could criticize her for not being the best singer at this time, but I like, she hit the note perfectly at the show, but I was like, I honestly wanted to hear her not hit it. Like when she hits it out of like, it's so pitchy, but it works because she just sounds so like she doesn't give a shit, like doesn't care.
She's just wailing. She's just going off.
It's crazy.
My favorite lyrics are all I really need now is an intellectual intercourse, a soul to make the whole much deeper. Like when she did that at the show, I went off. I think everyone there was like, I don't know what that line really means, to be honest, but it just speaks to me when I hear it.
Yeah. Some of it is just kind of like, it sounds like the ramblings of of like a 19-year-old who thinks they're deeper than they are a little bit.
Yeah.
But that still kind of works. Like I love the part with why are you so petrified of silence? And then it goes quiet.
Yeah.
Here, can you handle this?
this?
Oh man, that was like in the concert too. It was like you could hear a pin drop. It was so amazing. When she came back, I was like, oh gosh. Yeah.
No, it's so chilling.
Such...
Sometimes it chills down your spine, right? It's
all right, let's go on to the
next one.
Favorite song on the album.
So here's the thing about this one. All right. This is one of the later tracks I heard to the album, and I didn't realize it was Alanis until a while later. And I was like, this is obviously an amazing song. It has very I'm trying to think like it's about an ex-boyfriend.
Supposedly Dave Coulier from Full House. Supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly. We don't know for sure,
but there's like it could have been about Matt LeBlanc, apparently. It could have been about this hockey player, Mike Peluso. But it's just a song that it's a great song, don't get me wrong. But I think I'm going through a bit of fatigue because I went through a bit of You Ought to Know fatigue, because it's like it's just one of the most played songs from the album, and everyone is covered. Okay, like Beyonce, Britney Spears.
Oh yeah, I don't like any of those.
Even like Richard Cheese and Lounge Against the Machine, Weird Al sampled it or whatever. It's too many people have covered this album, and I'm over it, you know. But it's still one of the best songs on the album, because I mean, it's one of their signature songs,
like
right?
It's got the flea bass and like
exactly.
It's so good. Yeah, I get it though. I get it, and like. There's something
it's so angry. It's spiteful.
It's angry, but yeah, it's petty. It's not a. That's what I kind of like about it. Like I know that it's petty and it's like a bit juvenile. Like you know, it's called Take a High Road. Like don't. This is something only in your 20s you would write, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's also the point. That's why I like it. It's just like it's very ugly, but it's real. You know, it's honest. Like everyone feels that way. Everyone's like, you get broken up with. There's a small part of you that's like, you know what? Screw you.
Want to know.
I want you to like suffer a little bit, you know. Like,
you're so tempted to just go up to them and like tell them everything that is on your mind, and then you're like, no, I really shouldn't do that. Actually,
yeah, exactly. That's worse. Kind of a.
That's what you shouldn't do.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed she still sings it. I feel like it's something you later on would be like, oof, oh, I said that. Oh.
Right.
You know, it's like reading your old MSN Messenger like chats and being like,
oh god,
oof, wow.
I don't want to look at those, but it would look something like this song for sure.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that being said, I can't say I don't like it. It's one of the best songs in the album. It's a classic. I'm just going through a bit of fatigue for it. It's that I also like other songs in the album more.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's still a classic. You Ought to Know is one of her best songs. And then there's Perfect,
which is not perfect.
Not perfect. That's the one.
This is the one song on the album I don't like.
No,
like I like the idea, and I like that it's not Alanis talking about Alanis and just listing things. Like she does that a lot in the album, which is fine. But it's kind of like, oh, okay, it's from like a different perspective, and it's like not being good enough for your like authoritarian parents, and that's great, but it's just so badly executed. It's so whiny. Like, I don't want to be rude because Alanis is a great singer, and it was great live. Like I heard it live, I was like, oh, this can be a good song. But oof, yeah, it's well sung. It's not well sung. She couldn't do ballads at this point. Her ballads were not. Yeah, it wasn't there yet.
Yeah, ballads are not really her thing. It's a song that like when we try to get other people into it, like they're not really like, we gotta try to get our friend Trish into it, and she wasn't she's like, it's not my favorite song. It's like, no, don't worry, it's not ours either. But she still managed to sound pretty good live. It's a part of it. It's like, the thing is, not every song can be there's got to be more like slower pace numbers.
Yeah, it definitely breaks it up. So
all right, so moving on to Hand in My Pocket. This song is actually probably one of the first songs I heard of this album. I just remember hearing it as a kid in the car. It's probably my introduction to this album. And I mean, what can you say about it? Like, I don't really know what's going on lyrically, but it's so catchy.
Yeah, it definitely sounds the most Canadian wintry waiting in a car. I think the music video, she's wearing winter clothes. Like
I think so.
I think so.
She's driving her car in a black and white form with
I've always liked this one because it's like something hopeful about it.
Yeah.
But there's something like, I don't know. I've always read into it that it's like after a trauma or after you go through something, you're kind of like hesitant. It's like getting back up again. So you have like one hand in your pocket, you're kind of like, I don't like reserved and kind of like introverted. But then the other hand, she's doing something. She's trying to like get out of that, like that bubble. So like doing regular things. But it's like regular things seem like monumental, like getting a taxi cab or playing piano or holding a cigarette, you know.
I got that vibe too, actually. I always thought that like there's a sense of hope in the song.
Yeah, something sad and like downtrodden, but a little bit like hopeful.
Because as we all try to move through like any kind of challenge like you go through in life, like one part of you is stuck, and the other hand, other part of you is like trying to act as if everything is normal and trying to just carry on with your day. That's the sign I got. That's the sense I got from the album. I mean, the song. Sorry.
Yeah, I still feel like it every time I hear it. I think that's why I like it a lot more. Whereas like you ought to know, I feel when you're a teenager, you feel like that all the time. When you're older, you don't feel like that all the time. So it's like reserved for special angry moments. But when Hand in My Pocket is like an everyday. That's an everyday song. You can hear that, listen to that every day, and it would still hit.
Yeah,
you know. I guess I can't believe it was a hit single. Like it's so like modest and like I don't know.
And it does actually sound authentically Canadian. I'm totally with you. Like
there's something
when I
like
hear it.
modest. Yeah, it's the modesty thing. It's very like
got one hand in my pocket, you know, like
one hand in my pocket. The other is
they're saying
loony out of there.
I know, car. Right? It's just so simple and innocent. I don't know. Yeah, can't really say much else about the song. It's just really catchy and very no, it's good. The next one is Right Through You. Right Through You is actually the first, I think, non-single I heard in this album, and I love it.
Was it a single?
Or was it? I don't think so.
It might have been a single, but wasn't successful. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, I like this one a lot. It's another like screw you, man kind of song, but it's a little bit more like screw you, like corporate executives and like like gross dude. It's very like Me Too, ahead of its time. Actually, a little bit. It's like calling out like the powers that be. There's some good lines in this one though.
There is. Oh my god, the lyrics are amazing. It's I'm gonna look them up actually, because there's a few I we can't just not it's why am I looking up You Learn? That's the next song. Right Through You.
Or it's like, now what is it? Now that I'm Miss Thing, now that I'm a zillionaire, scan the credits for your name and wonder why it's not there. I'm like, yeah, that's so good. Oh man.
Oh, that's one of my favorite parts. Again, when she was singing that, nobody in the arena wasn't
Wine Dine 69 me.
Then you're or
Wine Dine 69 me.
Or wait a minute, sir, you kind of hurt my feelings. You see me with a sweet bag loaded puppet, and you've got meal ticket taste. And then there goes boom right in the chorus. I see right through you. I know right through you. Oh man.
Or you took a long hard look at my ass and then played golf for a while.
Just shaking like a fit.
Yeah, it's so good.
I know. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the more alternative songs on the album, I would say. That's the cool part about this album. Is like half of it could fit on like an alternative station and the other could be on like a pop radio station. Like it really nails that like that balance perfectly. I think that's why it was such a big hit, because like it just it appeals to that angsty 90s vibe, but then it's still like so catchy and appealing. Like even if you don't feel that way, if you want to sing these songs.
It almost, to me, it sounds like you should be dressed up in like overalls and like bell bottom jeans. It just sounds like a 90s, or like I don't know, like a ponytail or something. Like that's a truly 90s outfit. That's what it sounds like to me. Or just wearing like just overly baggy clothes. That was some of the trends in the 90s for sure. It was like either really plain or like overly baggy, like what like Joey would wear on Friends. That's what Right Through You sounds like to me. I think this album has such incredible nostalgia value, which is
Yeah.
why millennials love this album.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I wonder like a Zoomer. I think Zoomers would like associate with it. Some of these songs have been in like some pretty like popular like indie movies like Lady Bird and Booksmart and so I think Zoomers do like this song, but I can't help but wonder if they think some of this is dated at the same time.
For sure.
Like especially in terms of production, like I think the music itself sounds so 90s.
I know.
And like if you don't like that, then that might be a problem. But
Yeah, if you're not gonna like the
anyway,
production values.
let's move on to the next one.
Yeah,
We're
next
talk
one.
Forever.
You Learn. You Learn is
Whoa.
Wait, no, whoa,
Forgiven.
excuse me.
Forgiven.
Whoa. Why did I oh my
Forgiven,
God.
I think is probably the most underrated song in
Yeah.
the album for me. Like it's really good.
I
It's
didn't
not about like, I don't know. He's like, I don't agree.
No, I was gonna say, go
Sucks.
ahead. I was gonna say the reason my thing is I didn't fall in love with it at first, but then a couple of days before the show, I was like, this is really underrated and this is gonna kill live. This is gonna sound so good.
Yeah.
And it did.
It's kind of like Uninvited. It's like one of her like more rockier, like, because like I don't think she's great at ballads at this point in her career, but she's really good at belting when it's time to like really belt something angsty. Like, oh, Forgiven is like so like anti-Catholic church. Like
It is. That's it, right?
it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
And I believe she was raised Catholic, so it's comes from a real place. And like I don't know, the harmonies are amazing, and like it's haunting song.
It's very haunting and it's very well. At one point, I think in the like the tier of songs in the album, I had it with like Perfect, but no, Forgiven was always like one of the more underrated tracks, and the lyrics are incredible. Like we all needed something to cling to.
Yeah.
There you go, religion. So we did. Like one of my favorite parts is when in the name of the Father is kept thinking his Son. I had one more stupid question.
Yeah, I like that part. One stupid. Yeah.
I love the way she sings that as the delivery of it.
Stupid question.
Yeah, man. Now that I'm reading the lyrics, I'm like, I kind of makes me want to go back and listen to it again.
She killed it at the show too. Like at the show, it was like, wow.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh. All right, then we'll move on to your favorite.
You Learn. So
it is one of the best.
It is one of the best. I think it is my personal favorite. If I'm being super subjective, it's my favorite because
I think objectively it's one of the best ones.
For sure. I heard
the one with the most hope. The one where it's like,
at one point, like my iTunes count was like 156. I think I heard this song like 156 times. More than that. It's not even 200 probably.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that song when I was like, I just listened to it over and over and over. It's like getting over a really bad crush, or
it's like getting over anything.
Getting over anything.
It's like admitting that you failed. You failed badly. Like not a little bit. Like
you just
horrifically
failed badly.
Yeah, and it's like finally being like, okay, I learned.
I didn't even realize this was about she was robbed in LA.
Oh wow,
with a gun.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and she had to go to like psychotherapy.
Oh, that's what. Yes, right. That's why she had a breakdown. Like it was super traumatic.
Yeah. But like I just you live, you learn, you love, you like it's the song that you listen to when you're just, again, like you said, going through anything and you fail hard, but it's okay. Like it preaches like self-compassion in a way, which is really good.
There's also something so 90s about it. I used to like lump it in with like Torn by what's her name? Natalie Imbruglia.
Natalie Imbruglia.
It gives me the same vibe.
Yeah.
Maybe because like lying naked on the floor. Just think about like being naked in these songs. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I really there's so I don't know. Some of the lyrics are really open to interpretation with Alanis Morissette, but you learn is really just about learning from your mistakes. And again, well, but not in her situation. She was robbed at gunpoint, but I mean the lyrics swallow it down, what a jagged little pill, which is the name of the album, and also just her I don't know, not her scream or her like weird what did she do in the end? Just like,
Hiya!
I love that. That is so
like
it's so uniquely her. That's what I love about it. It's so uniquely her. And yeah, and if you've seen the video, goes to the video, it's so 90s. So anyways, on the next one, but that's my personal favorite of the album. Head Over Feet is of course another one of the singles. And
yeah, this one's good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's like the love song of the album.
That's it. It's the rom-com of the album.
Yeah, it's the rom-com. It's kind of like, well, I messed up and life sucks, but you're making me happy again, you know.
Yeah. Happy-go-lucky.
Really I like some of the lyrics. I like that. What is it? It's all your fault. Like I like how it's all your fault that I'm falling for you. Like
yeah,
that's a cool. Like I like that. That's a sentiment not expressed in love songs very often. Like I didn't want this to happen. Like like I didn't want to fall for you, but you're awesome and I'm not. Yeah, you can't help it. Yeah, yeah. I like that vibe of the song.
It's and I knew the video.
Some of the lines are. I just one line a little cringe though. Like, was it? You're my best friend. Best friends with benefits.
The lyrics are great, man.
I don't know about that one.
No, that one I think she might have missed the mark a little bit.
But whatever. It's still an amazing album.
So some parts of the song that are kind of cringe. I'm not gonna lie. Like I hear it, I'm like, I like it because I'm a '90s baby and
yeah, I think this one
nostalgic, but not one of the more. But it's a single, but ironically, it's not one of the better songs in the album. But still, it all comes together, which is what I was gonna say. Which leads to our next one, Mary Jane, which is not a single, but again, really complements the rest of the album because again, not every song can be like You Learn. Not every song can be One Hand in My Pocket or You Ought to Know.
Yeah, you got to bring down the energy.
You got to bring it down.
I really will go to bat for Mary Jane. I think it's great. I really think it's like I think it's better than Head Over Feet. Like I actually like it better. And I think it's needed. I think like Perfect, maybe even Forgiven. You can't have a little album being like, oh, I'm Alanis, my life is hard, woe is me. Like fair enough. Like it's good, but like after a while, an audience will get turned off by that
for sure.
And they're not going to be like that. It's a hard line. Like as you know, I think I made a song like that once and it was terrible. It was so bad. Like the line between like being confessional and coming off as self-pitying is very thin. So like it's amazing that she was able to like to make millions off of that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's good that there's one song on here that's just like about someone else, like having empathy for someone else and like seeing someone else's struggles and being like, hey, I'm gonna get you through this. That makes it, I don't know. And it's the best ballad on the album. It's the one where I'm like, okay, she pulled it off. Mm-hmm. She can do a ballad. And live, it was so good live. It was amazing.
That was the one where she held that ridiculously long note. And not just a note, but like a really high note. And again, like I said before, I was watching her do it and I was like, I filmed it. I was like, how is she doing this? And yeah, it's the subject matter. I don't know, it's about a girl who's, obviously not in a happy relationship. And, I think there's other interpretation, like about a woman with like an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Which makes sense given that Alanis Morissette had an eating disorder. And yeah, I really, it's a slower number, but it adds variety to the album, and there's a lot of depth to it. So definitely another one of the more underrated tracks. And then we have Ironic, which
Wow.
that is the song that everyone just loves to belt, just sing in their car.
Yeah, that was themselves. That's the first one I ever heard, I think, for sure. And we don't need to go into how it's not ironic. I don't care. Like, that's the amazing part of this song, is it's so catchy. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care that it's not ironic. I don't. Like, when that chorus comes in, how could you not sing? How can you not sing along to that? Like, it's like, yeah. It's like, even if it's not ironic, it's like, you still feel that song. You know?
It's I mean,
it's another Life Sucks kind of song.
It's another Life Sucks song. Exactly.
It's another you learn. But...
Yeah, when she performed it live, everyone, of course, like, that's the reason you go see her live, so you can belt that out with your friends. It's a song you sing after, like, I don't know, going through, like, maybe a breakup, or like, I don't know, a bad day at work, or I don't know. It's for any situation, really. And it's kind of like, again, I hate to reference James Corden here, but it's very carpool karaoke. It's something that you would sing in your car and you're out on a road trip or whatever. Just crank up a little bit of Alanis Morissette, and just belt this line out. It's so therapeutic. I think this is a song where I was like, I can't keep up with her anymore. I cannot sing. It's just unreal. But yeah, another one of the best songs off the album. And I don't know, was it? I think it was like apparently her highest charting single.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a song that I'm getting to the point of fatigue with it. Like, everyone loves that song. I'm like, no, go listen to the album. The album has so many other songs. Ironic is great, but listen to All I Really Want and Right Through You, and anyways, whatever, it's fine. But we got Not the Doctor, which is another really good one.
It's another list song.
Yeah.
It's another list song. But I like this one. It's a little hypocritical, though. It's like, I'm not your therapist, but it's like, well, you have been going off about your problems for about 57 minutes now, Alanis. I don't think you have any right to. No, I'm kidding. I think it's about, like, whiny
codependency, maybe. I don't really care anymore. Well, I mean, the lyrics, like, I don't want to be the substitute for the smoke you've been inhaling. I don't want to be a bandage if the wound is not mine. I don't want to be adored before I merely represent you. You're a very big boy now. I don't want to be your mother. Didn't carry you in my womb for 9 months. Show me the back door.
It's good. It's funny. It's a funny song.
It is funny. It sounds petty and spiteful, but it's funny. It's supposed to be funny, I think.
Yeah.
She's got a good sense of humor, which is why I like.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know, you can say it. It's not like it would never be a hit single, but it's catchy. I don't know anything else to say about Not the Doctor. It's good.
I don't know either. It's just one of her. Same thing with kind of like with Wake Up. Like,
Wake Up is weird. Wake Up is really good. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. It's kind of like Forgiven. It's got the same vibe. I actually have no idea what Wake Up is about. I've looked at the lyrics. I have no idea what it's about. I think it's kind of like a harsher way of being like, oh, I think it's a harsher way of being like, oh, bad stuff happened to you. Like, get up, go do something. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. But I really like, it's very alternative. It's got like a dark vibe to it. I really like it. And it's such a great way to end the album too. Like,
the way it ends, just wake up. And it's almost like the whole album was a dream or something.
Yeah, it's like wake up,
and then
you could circle back to All I Really Want. It's like down, like, it's an album that's circular. It could keep going around and
I
around.
know. I love that part. It almost feels like the end of like a 90s dream or something. Like, just wake up and it's like, okay, well, this album's over, like, and I love the vocal delivery. It's easy not to. So one of the best parts, which is like, to you.
That's a lot of this album. There's a lot of yelling.
A lot of her going, you. like Bono, like yeah. You want to avoid referencing Bono here, but
All right,
uh,
that was an intensive.
that was an extensive show. I mean, this album is just amazing, right? Like, I don't think every song necessarily tells a story, but it's again so personal, such an amazing album.
Yeah, it's the sum of its parts,
And
really.
it is the sum of its parts. And after this, honestly, I feel bad. I haven't really done a deep dive into her whole catalog. I like some songs after this for sure. But this is, I mean, to be fair, this is a really hard album to follow.
No, this is like it's a lightning in a bottle album. And I mean, I don't think it's fair to say that it was the first of its kind. It's not. There are way other albums. Like the 90s were great for female singer-songwriters. Like it was a huge step forward for female singer-songwriters of that generation who did it angstier than Alanis did, for sure. But I think in terms of like hitting mainstream and putting out something that like means to you, something to you, and it's confessional and it's raw and honest. I think she nailed it. She just like hit the right time. It was like the 90s, mid 90s, perfect time where things were kind of like, the 90s are so interesting that they're like angsty. They're very angsty or like apathetic. Like they either go that way or they're very happy and like over the top. Like, there's no gray zone. So it's kind of like, and she kind of married those two things like super, super well. So it makes sense that people like latched onto it more than like, I don't know, like Liz Phair. Like I love that album. I think that album is better personally. Yeah. I think that's a deeper album, but it's not as poppy and it's a little rough around the edges. Or like, you know, Tori Amos or Fiona Apple or I think other people like that at that time, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, she's in a class of her own, but there was definitely a move. Like if it wasn't Alanis, like you said, there'd be no Fiona Apple. There would be no. For me, they all go hand in hand. Like Sarah McLachlan, you know, Canadian alternative artist. Fiona Apple's not Canadian, but but Alanis really, that's her magnum opus. You know, it's an album that I think always deserves going back to. And I don't know, I'm just
even when she was singing it, it was kind of like, you could kind of tell she was like, wow, in awe that she made this. You know, she was kind of like, wow. It was kind of like her revisiting it, being like, it was almost beyond her at this point. Like it's crazy. It was like she was covering it, but she wrote it. Like
she wrote it,
but it's been so long ago. She's not even the same person anymore. So it's like, I can't imagine how surreal that must have been for her at the same time.
Oh, it must have been. I mean, you're up there and you're singing your. Yeah, it's like you said, she's covering it because
it was very rare that too. It's very rare that you produce something that means like so much to you and people like it. Like that's very rare. Those two things go together. Very often you release something that's very personal and no one cares, you know, or you release something that's huge, but you had to like dilute. You had to dilute how you feel. You had to make it a little more approachable, but she didn't do that like at all. She just put out the thing she wanted to make, and it turned out it was like a lightning in a bottle moment.
Yeah,
one of those perfect 90s albums. Some people won't agree, some people don't like it, but I don't know.
How do you not like this album? But whatever. I don't even know how you like.
I think if you were born in the 90s, if you lived in the 90s,
I think you have to be old enough to hear it, but like not, you know, like we were born a special time where like we were 4 or 5 years old by the time it already came out. So without giving away our age, you know, you get the idea that we were old enough to be like appreciating music on the radio. I mean, it's probably one of the first songs I mean, actually, like the Spin Doctors was like one of the first things I ever heard on the radio. The Spin Doctors and Fine Young Cannibals.
I remember like Sheryl Crow,
Morissette, the Gin Blossoms, Alanis Morissette. Yes. All of those. So
especially being Canadian, you're going to hear a lot of Canadian stuff like that.
Yeah, you are for sure. Yeah. So anyways, that's our ode to Alanis Morissette, and we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Sorry for any technical issues. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.